Okay, I chugged that real hard. Okay, so Breath of Fire 2. The sprite era of Capcom really taken off. The art direction team was having a blast. The art team, everyone involved in every single visual component of this game was clearly having a blast. Because it actually has this Capcom arcade feel to it, despite being a JRPG. Like, the mechanics afoot, maybe they're not that deep, but everything from the sound effects to the animations feels so satisfying. When you land a critical hit and the screen just like shakes real quick for a moment, like, ooh, felt that one. Oh no, it's dope. I love critical hits in that game feel really good. The sound effects, the screen just getting in your face about it, like, yeah, that was a heavy hit. It feels awesome. And the main character, he's basically got like a chakra skill, Final Fantasy style chakra. Just like, yeah, I just want to recover my HP. I never thought it was good when I was younger. I didn't realize that it's much stronger the lower you are on health. And like, if Ryu is like low on health, he's about to die, you just use guts. You get most of your freaking HP back, and you won't die. So the main character is basically invincible most of the time through the guts command, as long as you use it well, anyway. Now, let me give you a tip, because my brother was playing through this game with his fiance recently, and he was talking about how grind heavy the game was. And I was like, let me give you a tip. Once you can grind around the Coliseum, not that far into the game, when you get a party of 4, or maybe 3 or whatever, I don't remember who you even got. Wait till you get Sten. Yeah, wait till you get Sten in your party and all that. Rope arm back over to the Coliseum and fight those dragon hopper fly things around the Coliseum. You can do it whenever you want, but do it early. Those things drop gold coins that you can fish up Manilo with. Manilo is the fish merchant where you can get a bunch of crazy good equipment from. Go fishing a lot in this game. You make better money fishing in Breath of Fire 2 than you do in Final Fantasy 11. It's ridiculous how lucrative fishing is. Definitely worth your time to fish in this game, and also to catch Manilo, because he's got a bunch of overpowered equipment that you probably can't get for like another 7 to 10 hours. You can twink your party out really hardcore. And like Manilo, the fish people, like, he was a character in Breath of Fire 1. He kind of sucked. He was only good to fuse into Karn. But Manilo, from like this point in the series, there's never another fish person in your party. They're just the merchant class. For some reason, the fish people are the merchants. I don't know why. Someone decided that, and everyone agreed, and no one has ever questioned it. But you get all the good stuff from them. But you can't fish Manilo up with bait. You have to put a gold coin on your hook. And you've got to farm those gold coins from like the 5 enemies that drop them. And the dragon hopper dude things toward the beginning of the game. Just level grind there until you have like 20 gold coins, and then just play the rest of the game, and you won't really ever have to level grind again, I assure you. Maybe one other time if you feel like it, but you don't really have to. And the random battles will be no problem for you at that point. That's the best point to buff your party up. That's my little tip for you. To me, what's interesting about Breath of Fire 2 is you actually meet the Nina, like the royal Windian princess. There's always a Nina in every Breath of Fire game as well. And the Nina in Breath of Fire 2 meets the Nina from Breath of Fire 1 in like spirit form. And she starts talking about how, like, oh, well, I fell in love with a man from the dragon tribe, and from the product of our offspring, and from back then until now, kind of weakened both of our bloodlines by mixing our blood. That's why the Windians can't all turn into the Great Bird anymore. And that's why the Ryu in Breath of Fire 2 cannot maintain a dragon form like he could in the first game. Instead, he just kind of does a giant, enemy party nuke with all of his MP, and then he's out of MP entirely. His ability to use a dragon is significantly weakened. One is a little bit of an overreaching gameplay balance because they were a little too strong in the first game, but also to tell a plot point. The dragon capacity in the dragon tribe is weakened to the point that they cannot really maintain their forms anymore. And that's a pretty cool way to express that, I think. And I think that may have triggered a certain fascination with creation of Breath of Fire 3, which, obviously we're going to get into that. But I love how Breath of Fire 2 is this perfect setup point for every other Breath of Fire game. It's one of the most accessible ways to get into the series, in my opinion. It's the best way to, see the commonalities between each game. How there's always kind of a character named Bo or Bosch in every one of the games. There's always a Ryu, there's always a Nina, and just how, like the Grass Runner tribes, and it just, it's amazing, dude. But anyway, enough about the awesome thematic elements. Also, there is the whole, JRPG thing of we need to kill God. Except God in this game actually sucks. And this is like an actual evil God. And people don't realize they've been praying to an evil God the whole time type situation. And they kind of resurrected him through a bunch of misplaced faith. So you have to go kill God. So, yeah. A lot of Christian groups around the time this game came out were really unhappy with the concept of a story where you play a boy with a mark on his forehead who turns into a dragon killing god. So I actually kind of had to hide the fact I was playing this game from my parents because they would not have approved of it. Although, funnily enough, years down the line, my mom actually played through Breath of Fire 2 and finished it. Yeah. My mom has played through Breath of Fire 2. She played through Breath of Fire 3 as well, because she thought it was dope. But that's a whole other can of worms. The coolest part of Breath of Fire 2, though, is the shaman fusion system. They loved the idea of Karn fusing with other characters and decided to maybe not make it racist this time. And so throughout your adventure, you will drop your friend who's accused of a crime off at this hovel, and then he rebuilds it into a pretty nice little mini mansion. And then after your dragon powers awaken, you burn down Granny's house, and her fire shaman sort of daughter moves into the part of the mansion that you and your friend Bosch were supposed to be living in. And then she forces Bosch to build a fusion chamber, which for some reason he knows how to do. Don't question it. And from that point forward, anytime you find an elemental shaman out in the world, you can have them go back to your village, and now you can fuse them with the rest of your party members. Mostly it's just statistical changes. A really potent statistical change will enact a color swap for the sprite, which the first time you see that is like, oh, that's pretty cool. But when you learn the super fusions for each of the characters that not only dramatically change the way they look, dramatically change their stats, but also change their in-combat action command from something that it never had that ability before. And oh man, there's so many good choices. Like, do you want to turn Sten into like a fire djinn? You could turn Kat into a literal like ultra dimensional night dancer who just like kicks through time and breaks the reality around the enemies she attacks. That's one of my favorites. Do you turn Nina into the Omni Mage who just finally is able to float because the magical power flowing through her actually breaks the curse on her family's bloodline and finally allows her to float just a few inches off the ground because she finally deserves to experience what she wasn't. Nina's story in Breath of Fire 2 is really sad. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But that's the reason that I would always let Nina have her super fusion form, because after all that she has been through, she deserves to fly, damn it. And oh man, I just gotta say, that ending bit leading up to the final boss in Breath of Fire 2 has gotta be one of my favorite heart-pounding, adrenaline-surging moments in just about any game ever. It's up there with the final moment in Lufia 2 when you have to go break the 3 stones holding a stopless afloat. Oh my goodness, dude. Ryu has just witnessed his friends locked inside of ultra-dimensional time crystals and then shattered. So much so that no one can even remember that they existed. Their literal existence has been erased from all of reality. And all he can do is struggle inside of his stasis crystal, looking at the glittering fragments of the fading memories of who was in there again. I don't know, but first of all, I'm gonna break the hell out of this crystal, and you gotta mash the D-pad and press every single freaking button on the controller, and you finally bust out of it. And then, doesn't matter what you do, Ryu takes a step forward, another step, and then he just starts sprinting. And then it goes into the battle cutscene view, and you see this horrendously long bridge held up by all these stilted columns going down into an eternal darkness unseeable below. As Ryu charges forward valiantly, his magical explosions continuously erupt and explode all around him. The bridge keeps crumbling, but he can't see it. The only thing he can see is the red in his eyes and the target that his soul has painted on the foe in front of him. He continues to have his entire body blown apart into tiny little pieces. Shreds of him are falling off. Bone is likely showing out of the extremities of his shoulders and elbows by the time he finally reaches his opponent, draws his sword, leaping through the sky, and damn! He just cut God's face open. I did not expect to see that massive pillar of blood in a Super Nintendo game. It's for just a moment, but damn! He didn't just slash that fool, he cut his face open. And then, as the dark god's facade has been split apart, symbolically and literally and physically, it descends into the abyss that bore it, and then comes back out again as an Orotsukidoji horrific tentacle monster. I'm not kidding. For some reason, this thing has like 15 penises with teeth on it. Nintendo censors, you missed this one. It literally has like 15 penises on it. It's super cool as it goes, final boss style. It's got faces and mouths and teeth, fangs, tentacles, orifices that explode with chest bursters all across his body. It's got like 4 different faces and 20 horns and 3 different snouts. And it is just a horrendous multi-dimensional Cthulhuian abomination from fricking hell. And you stand alone against it. I'm not going to spoil the rest of it for you. It's freaking badass. Check it out. Breath of Fire 2 arcade JRPG of all time. Thanks for listening. We're going to get drunker. God bless.